750 jobs to go at the merged Avonmore Waterford Group. Minister faces opposition questions on the release and re-release of drug suspects. And who's at school in some parts of Dublin? 1 in 3 under 12s are not. Good evening and welcome. The first person to testify under the state's witness protection programme has told the Special Criminal Court he cleaned and prepared the gun used to kill Veronica Guerin. He said he knew she was going to be shot, but he didn't know she was going to be murdered. Charles Bowden is the main prosecution witness in the trial of Patrick Eugene Holland, who denies a charge of possession of cannabis for sale or supply. Earlier in the trial, the Garda who arrested Holland said she believed he was the man who had shot Ms. Guerin.
33-year-old Charles Bowden was surrounded by tight security both inside and outside the Special Criminal Court for his appearance to give evidence against Patrick Eugene Holland. Up to 100 uniformed and plainclothes Gardaí were on duty in the court area. Bowden, an ex-soldier, identified Holland as the man known as the Wig. He was, Bowden says, a regular customer for significant quantities of cannabis from a drugs operation that has been described as on a massive scale. Bowden was the front man who collected the cannabis, brought it to the lockup at the Greenmount Industrial Estate and then repackaged it for distribution to customers. He kept lists of customers' names and the quantities ordered. Holland was listed by his nickname, the Wig, Bowden told the court. Bowden described himself as not heavy stuff. He said he cleaned and prepared the gun, a .357 Magnum used to kill Veronica Guerin. It had been brought in January 1996, concealed in a box of cannabis. He said he knew that Veronica Guerin was going to be shot or shot at to intimidate her, but didn't know she was going to be murdered. He also described the ammunition, brass bullets with silver heads, the tops turned in rather than pointed. They're known as dum-dum bullets, and he agreed under cross-examination that as an ex-soldier, he knew their devastating capability on a human being. Bowden is currently serving a 6-year sentence for drugs and firearms offences. He's been given immunity from prosecution by the DPP in connection with Veronica Guerin's murder, and both he and his family are now under strict protection. He said he has no knowledge of plans for his future following his release from prison. He was in the witness box for just over an hour and a half and was a cool and articulate witness. By court order, no sketches of him were allowed. The court also ruled that the names of accomplices mentioned by Bowden could not be revealed. His involvement in the cannabis industry made him a wealthy man. He admitted to saving £100,000 and maintaining a fine lifestyle. At one point, he owned a hairdressing salon operated by his girlfriend. Bowden was whisked away as soon as his evidence ended. The court is now hearing from a number of Gardaí who are giving evidence of unsigned records of interviews with Holland during his Section 30 detention in Lucan last April. The trial is continuing. Mary Wilson, RTE News, the Special Criminal Court.
And a Dublin man wanted by Gardaí in connection with the Guerin murder has told a court in Amsterdam that he wouldn't get a fair trial if he were extradited to Ireland. Meehan, who was arrested in Amsterdam last month, claimed in court he was innocent of all charges but wouldn't get a fair trial because of the newspapers.
Assistant Commissioner Tony Hickey was in Holland for today's trial. The Gardaí are seeking Brian Meehan in connection with the murder of Veronica Guerin, the importation of 96 200-kilo shipments of hashish and several firearms offences. Meehan was brought here from the high-security prison where he's being held. He sat alongside a translator throughout the 2-hour hearing. He seemed relaxed. He was wearing black trousers, a navy shirt and a black short-sleeve jumper. On a number of occasions, he turned to his family in the public gallery and winked. He told the 3 judges he was innocent of all 18 charges and said, "I won't get justice in Ireland because of the newspapers." Meehan's lawyer told the 3 district court judges he had an alibi from 3 witnesses, including his father, in relation to the Guerin murder. His lawyer claimed the Irish media were acting as a prosecutor and judge in the Guerin case because Veronica Guerin was their colleague. After a 2-hour hearing, the judges said they would give their verdict on December the 9th. If the district court grants the extradition request, Meehan can appeal that decision to the Dutch Supreme Court. Tommy Gorman, RTE News, Amsterdam.